So I just finished my third behind the scenes video for a large scale movie being made, and I want to share some tips and tricks that I learned along the way. The first thing I did was research behind the scenes videos that I like, from Army of the Dead to The Last of Us, with a focus on Western, since this was a Western like 1883 and 1923. And so the first thing I learned is that I like the interview style BTS. Back in the day, BTS videos always had a narrator.
The new members of the cast were surprised by the atmosphere on the set.
It's unnecessary, it doesn't add any value, and I would not have a narrator. I don't like the random video kind of just showing them setting up props and putting makeup on with no sound or music. The interview I wanted to emulate was the Yellowstone BTS's and The Last of Us, because I thought those were the best. They have sit-down interviews where the cast and crew will tell a story, and then they put B-roll on top of that. In the interview, there's always 2 camera angles. The titles are always very gentle and only come on once. And then they cut back and forth between different actors, producers, B-roll, and it weaves together an interesting story about something that happened on set. But one of the things I really like about this that I don't see in other behind the scenes is that in all of their interviews, it looks like they're on set. And they've got a beautiful 3-point lighting setup, a chair, 2 angles. It looks really nice, and it makes you feel like you're on set with the actors. And I did find examples where it doesn't look like they're on set at all, and I really don't like that. I want to have the interview on set, on location, and make the audience feel like they're there. So another thing I noticed on all these behind the scenes, they have drone shots, and they have time lapses. I think drone shots are great for openings. In fact, if you look at a lot of these, the drone shot's the opener. I think it looks really nice. But then also adding some shaky camera, zooms, things that make it feel like a documentary style. Asking somebody on set how they're doing, like this clip here.
Good morning, guys.
Just feels very authentic and live. So a couple other things I noticed was the split screen I think looks nice. I wouldn't use it too much. And then the other thing I thought was interesting was that in the Last of Us BTS, it looks like they use some sort of stock footage, or they make their own stock footage. I found that interesting. Okay, so after watching all those behind the scenes videos, I knew what I wanted. Here's what I learned from actually doing it. The first big thing is you need to get there early, because you're basically creating an interview area, a set, and that takes time to scout, to set up, and to get the lighting proper. And then the other thing is when people are going to get there early, that's going to be the best time to get the interview from them. You see, the goal is to get an interview from all the main actors and the directors. But in the middle of the day, they're going to be extremely busy. So you got to get them either at the end of the night, which is going to be tough because they're going to be tired, or very early as they're waiting for something or they have downtime. So getting there early is essential. That leads into my next tip, where you find your interview area and create your interview set. Make sure that it's far away so that when they're filming, they can't hear you. But make sure it's close enough to where you can walk there. Like pull someone aside and just be like, hey, can you come to this interview area? So my next tip is don't come to the set with a plan or a vision. I had this idea where I was going to interview everybody and ask them their favorite Western and then cut it all together. And then the problem was that a lot of people I interviewed had never seen a Western, which surprised me. And then a lot of the Western experts, they just started listing a million Westerns and didn't really answer the question to give me their one favorite. So I had a bunch of footage that didn't quite connect. Meanwhile, everybody started talking about how great the director is. And so that was my story. That was the story for me to weave together, was how great this director was. And so I think when you do these behind the scenes videos, you're trying to find the story there. You're trying to write the script when you get on set. Don't come with a pre-packaged plan. Another thing I learned is that you don't really want to direct the people. However, one of the things you can do, I learned from the AD in this project. He was doing a great job, and then he says this.
Now I'm gonna start over.
And then he does an even better job.
Our Western is...
And so what I learned from that is just to ask people to try it again. Because I think 9 out of 10 times, if you just ask someone to do it again, they nail it. It's so much better. So my next tip is to remember that the writers, the directors, and the producers are going to be your best interviews because they know the whole story and they've been there from the beginning to the end. and they're gonna give you your best stuff. The writers and the directors, they see this vision. They have this vision, and so you gotta get that out of them. You gotta get them to tell you what this vision is, and that'll really connect everything together when they get going. So my last tip would be, when you're filming B-roll, keep track of who you've got in your shot. So make sure you've got the makeup artist like 5 or 6 times, the ADs, the writers, just keep them, even the PAs. I mean, you're gonna be interviewing everybody, so you gotta have like some sort of checklist. And don't just focus on the lead actors, the directors, because you don't know which interview is gonna be killer, which interview is gonna be the best. And when you find that good interview, you're gonna wanna put B-roll of them, or if somebody's telling about a story about this person, you're gonna need B-roll of that person. So that's all I have for today for my tips for filming a behind the scenes video for a production company or movie. If you ever get a chance to do it, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great learning experience. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.